Welcome back to the deep dive. Today we're tackling who and whom. These two definitely seem to cause a lot of confusion, even for native speakers. I know I sometimes pause.
Oh, absolutely. It's a common one. And our mission today, really, after digging into the sources, is to, go beyond just the rules. We want to find those simple ways to think about them, make it stick. And then there's the surprising bit about how we actually use them in everyday English.
Right, so think of this as maybe your shortcut to finally nailing this, whether you're writing something formal or, just talking. We want you to feel confident. Okay, let's start with who. My feeling is it's always about the person doing something, the actor. Is that basically it, or is there a better angle from the sources?
No, you're spot on there. That's the core idea. The sources really highlight that who is the subject. It's the one performing the action.
The doer.
Exactly, the doer, the actor. Like in an example, who ate the last piece of pizza? It's clear, right? Who did the eating? That's the subject. Or another one, the students who failed the test will need extra help. Even inside that smaller part, who is doing the failing? It's consistently the initiator.
Okay, that makes sense. Who does the action? But then
Right.
whom? That's the one that feels, I don't know, a bit more formal, maybe trickier. What did the sources say about its job in a sentence?
Yeah, whom definitely has that reputation. And it's interesting, if who is the actor, our sources frame whom as the receiver. It's the object. The action happens to it or for it.
Ah, okay. The receiver.
Take example. Bob gave the money to whom? Let's break that down. Bob is the
Yeah.
subject, right? He gave the money is what he gave. That's the direct object. And whom is receiving it? The destination.
Got it. Bob did the giving, whom did the receiving. Okay. But I remember reading something specific, a really hard rule involving prepositions. When do you have to use whom?
Yes. This is the key situation, especially in formal writing. The rule is pretty rigid here. Whom always follows a preposition. That's a non-negotiable the sources really stress.
Always. Oh,
Always right after it. Like, these examples make it super clear. My 3 brothers, one of whom is a doctor. See, of is a preposition, then whom.
right.
Or with whom did you go? With is the preposition. Another one, that's the employee at whom I yelled. At is right there. And the person from whom I got this gift, again, preposition first.
Okay, so that's the formal rule nailed down. Preposition, then whom. But you mentioned earlier there's sort of a real-world twist.
Yeah.
This is where it gets interesting for everyday speaking, right?
Exactly. This is what I call the big exception, and honestly, it's quite liberating. In spoken everyday English, we often just use who, where, whom should technically be. Oh, yeah. And we also tend to stick prepositions at the end of sentences all the time, even if strict grammar says maybe we shouldn't. So remember, to whom did Bob give the money? Formally correct, but conversationally, you'll almost always hear, who did Bob give the money to? Sounds much more natural, doesn't it?
It does, actually, yeah.
Or who did you go to the movies with? Instead of the slightly stuffy with whom. Same for the others. That's the employee who I yelled at, or the person who I got this gift from. Perfectly normal in conversation.
So thinking about the listener now,
Yeah.
what's the takeaway for you when you're just, talking?
It really boils down to context. If you're writing something formal, a job application, an academic paper, that sort of thing, stick to the rules. Use whom after prepositions. Use it as the object.
Okay, formal rules for formal settings.
Right. But for casual conversation, emails to friends, texting, honestly, don't stress about it too much. Using who most of the time is completely standard, widely accepted, and frankly, it just sounds less stiff.
This has been really clarifying. So the big picture is knowing both ways.
Yeah.
Right? Understanding the formal rule, but also recognizing how English is actually spoken day to day. It gives you choices.
Precisely. You have the knowledge to adapt. And maybe that leads to a final thought for you to consider. How does knowing about this difference, this gap between the textbook and the street, actually help you communicate better? How do you decide when to stick to the rules and when clear, natural communication matters more in a language that's always, evolving?
That's a great question to ponder. Definitely something to think about until our next deep dive.
If you found this useful, please do subscribe, click that like button, and ring the notification bell. It really helps us keep creating content like this for you.